So it's Sunday night, it's called for fish. I'm going to use this a recipe out of here, which is the one the Guardian gives you every week. And this one's by Jose Pizarro, who runs a load of tapas bars. I'm going to try his hake in Salsa verde. But I'm not going to use hake, I'm going to use sustainable monkfish, which is here. That'll do just as well. And I have substituted a few ingredients, but it doesn't matter, the principle's a good one. So the hake in Salsa verde, and we're going to serve that with some potatoes. So what do we start off with? Well, what we need is a little bit of minced garlic in some olive oil. Okay, so we've got a little bit of olive oil to gently fry this garlic, only for a minute or so. Now, first substitution coming in, he calls for shallots, didn't have any, so I've used spring onion. I think it'll do the same job. And so that's quite good. So that's me onions and me garlic frying away gently, only for a moment really. We just want to start releasing those flavours. So what I do then is I put in some plain flour. So that's that. So fry that off, just cook the flour out. Again, not that much. So that's all going very well. So what else have I got going on here? Well, I've got some fish stock. I mean, again, Jose calls for fresh fish stock. I don't have it. He runs a restaurant. He runs a restaurant, so you know he's going to have that sort of thing. And I've also got some white wine. Now he calls for a particular Basque sparkling wine, but then if you haven't got that, he says substitute some dry white wine. So I'm using this muscadet. I'm sure it's far too good to put in the dish, but you know I've got to do what I've got to do. So there's the fish stock going in. Only a little bit. We don't really need it. It's going to be quite a concentrated sauce. So again, we're cooking off that. And then, almost immediately, I'm going to put in about 100 mils of this white wine. I mean, if you have a little bit too much, it's not going to matter because you're going to drive it off anyway. So that's that one. So this is all going quite swimmingly at the moment. So the next thing to do is to put some salt and pepper on this fish, black pepper this time. And some salt, of course. And then we just lay this fish in the sauce. There you go. So basically we're poaching this sauce. So it's poaching the fish in the sauce. I mean, if you want to loosen it a little bit, you can do. I'm going to just do that because I've got a really mightily large saucepan. Frame pan, so I'm going to turn that up a little bit. I mean, obviously the hake and the monk will take roughly about the same amount of time, which is why I'm sort of substituting it now. So we're just going to sit that there, and that's going to burble along while I tell you what happens next. So the next bit is to put some clams and peas in. So these are just ordinary peas that I've defrosted. And these are some clams I defrosted. But if you have a very nice Spanish tapas restaurant chain, like Jose does, then you can use fresh clams and you can use fresh peas. But I don't have those. So then we just slide those in. And that is coming along quite nicely. You can see the fish is already starting to lose its opaqueness and starting to gain a little bit of translucency, and it's on the way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to add a tiny bit more water. And then I'm going to get a lid to put on the top of this, just so it finishes cooking. Now that needs to stay in there for about 3 or 4 minutes, no more than that. And happily, it's pretty much straightforward after that. So the last bits of refinement to this dish are very straightforward. Now he calls for white asparagus, you know, the jarred stuff. But I didn't have any of that, I only had fresh. He does say fresh in the recipe, but I think he meant fresh white asparagus. Anyway, I don't know what I'm doing, so what I've done basically is I've got my asparagus and I've taken as much of the green off as I can, so I'm left with a white core. It should essentially do the job. And then I've just got some flat leaf parsley. So what we should find though, as we can see, this is already looking mighty fine, and this monk is nearly cooked already. The clams are all open and giving up their loveliness. By the way, I did I did wash the clams earlier on, so they were free of grit, so I forgot to mention that essential little step. And then just to finish off, and these asparaguses, we don't want them, or is it asparagi? Anyway, we don't want them to be completely soggy. We want them to be a sort of slightly al dente. So that's what I'm going to do now, and then I just put the parsley in, give that a little bit of something, and I'll just save that at the very end. So I'm going to give this now another minute. And all I'm doing with it is I've just boiled some potatoes. Actually, again, because there's a fair bit of sauce, you can have as much sauce as you want, really. Jose says crusty bread, but I like potatoes, so that's what I'm having. So I think that's pretty good. I just want to make sure that the asparagus, as I say, it doesn't matter if it's al dente. In fact, al dente is what you're really aiming for this. It's almost like a salady consistency rather than... But that, I think you'll find, looks absolutely delicious. So, I'm going to leave it there and we'll serve it up in a moment. But that essentially is hake with salsa verde, but not hake, it's monkfish. It doesn't matter, it'll work for both. Call for fish, eat more fish.